What's happening, good people? Welcome to the channel. I'm Wes, aka Mr. Budget Watch, and today we are going to be reviewing this. So this is the Seiko Conceptual SUR319P1. So this is from, obviously, their quartz range of watches. This was sent out to the channel by the Watch Shop. Now, if you've never heard of the Watch Shop, they are a huge online retailer based in the UK. They have watches such as this, other Seikos, Tissos, Hamiltons, Casios, Citizens, pretty much all the main manufacturers that you could want or need. They also offer sales just about year round, so you can find a good deal on there. Also check out on some listings, they actually have an extra discount code that you pop in at checkout and get an even bigger discount. So that is really nice to see. They also offer finance as well. Now, you obviously do finance at your own risk. Obviously, you only get finance if you can afford to pay it back. But it's nice to have if you ever need that option. So yeah, definitely check out the Watch Shop. Massive range of stuff, great customer service. Link in the description. So let's get on to the review. And the first thing I want to address is the look of this watch. Now, I don't usually do that first, but some people in the comments, and I actually agree, that this looks like a little bit like a baby Sarb. Now, they do actually do a slightly bigger version of this. This one is more sort of unisex, women's, I would say, with the size of it. But it is all right for us guys with really slim wrists as well. So getting on with the dimensions, we're looking at a 36mm diameter, 37.9 including the crown, a very compact 42mm lug to lug. We have a thickness of 8.6mm, so really nice and slender, slips under a cuff perfectly. A 4.8mm crown and a standard 18mm lug width, which is so much better than 19 and so much better than 17 as well. Sized up for me, it only weighs 85 grams, so it's very nice and lightweight. 114 on a full linked bracelet. Sapphire crystal, which is really nice to see on a Seiko at this price point. Full 36116L throughout, 100 meters of water resistance, screw down case back, and a 2-year guarantee. So that is pretty impressive set of specifications. So looking at this watch in a little bit more detail, you can see we have a very nice sloped high polished bezel. You guys know how I feel about high polish, but in this case I think it does actually work on a dress watch. I think brushing might have made it look a little bit too sporty in my opinion. Moving in a little bit more, you can see we have a printed white minute track and some applied indices. Now the indices are perfectly aligned and very, very nicely done. You can also see right at the tip of each indice is a little area of loom, which I'll show you later on in the video. But the indices are done to a very good standard. At the 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock and 9 o'clock you get a double baton. Everywhere else apart from at the 3 you get a single. Speaking of the 3, you can see we have a bordered date window. I wish they'd have colour matched this and made it black just to make it a little bit more stealthy and tie in a little bit more, just like on my Seiko SUR. I think that looks a lot better than white, but you know, I don't think it's a deal breaker, but it would have been nice to have it colour matched, or maybe even just a double baton to create some nice symmetry. Under the 12 o'clock you can see we have an applied Seiko logo that plays with the light really nicely, and that is pretty much it for branding and text. There's nothing else, which is really nice and clean and minimal. That dial, again, also clean and minimal, just black, no real heavy texture or really heavy sunburst. It's really nice and cleanly done. So very, very impressive there. There is a little bit of text right at the bottom, but you know, that's not really all that distracting. So now we're going to talk hands, and they're actually very nicely done. You can see they have a small section of loom and they are a sort of really slim and sharp Dauphine style. They have a little bit of sort of chamfering to them, but it's not over heavy, but they do play with the light really nicely. That second hand, very slender, just a needle tip one, and that is pretty much it. Really classy, really elegant, and again, well done. Moving on to these sides, and I actually love the side profile of this. You can see we have some very clean and neatly done brushing and that beautiful high polished edge across the top of the lugs, which flows nicely onto the top of the lugs. The lugs are also brushed as well, again done to a very nice standard. Round to the other side, you can see we have a very simple unsigned high polish crown And that is pretty much it. Really nice. I love the little contrast as well between the high polish and the brushing. It just creates for a nice bit of character around the side. Spinning round to the case back, you can see there's not really a deal going on. There's all your specifications and all your things are on the back, which is better than it being on the dial in my opinion. Radial brush pattern, and it is screwed down like I mentioned earlier, and that is pretty much your lot. So now we're going to talk movement, and this one is using a Seiko quartz, which is the 6N42. It uses a 364 cell battery if you ever need to replace one. I couldn't find the longevity of this movement though in terms of battery life. I think it's probably going to be around 3 to 5 years, but don't quote me on that. That's just usual, typical of a quartz like this. It's 0 joule. And it has an accuracy of negative to plus 15 seconds per month. So that is very, very impressive. So it works just like any other quartz movement. One pull out with the crown, you can see first stage there. Give it a little twist and we've got a very, very quick set date. Pop it out again and you can see we can adjust the time. Very, very nice and smooth. No issues whatsoever. It's probably one of the nicest feeling quartz I've ever used. It's so smooth. No bumps, no grating, no anything. It's just very, very nicely done. The crown, you know, it is a little bit small, but we do have some decent grip. You sort of have to purchase it with like your tip of your finger and your thumb. But once you've actually got a grip on it, it's all right. I think the 40mm will be a little bit better, obviously, for you guys with thicker wrists, because obviously it will have a slightly bigger crown, which will make it easier to use on a daily basis. Now we got onto my only issue with this quartz movement, and it seems to be missing some markers. Now I have noticed this issue, and it seems to be worse on this right hand side. Left hand side it just hits about near enough everyone bang on, but the right hand side it seems to miss just a lot. When we get down to the sort of 30 minutes, 6 o'clock, it starts hitting its markers just about bang on. So I'm not really sure what is going on there. I've never seen that happen. Usually it's quite uniform all the way around. It'll miss a few, hit a few. But on this one, it just seems to be missing on one side. I'm not really sure why that is. I can't explain it. So maybe you guys know that. So now we're going to move on to the bracelet, and this one is a bit of a mixed bag for me. The finishing is superb. It is fantastic. I love the little high polished accents running down the center, and then we've got brushing flanking them and then in the center as well. Now I do wish that they've actually put the border on the outer edge so it flows from the case down and then down to the clasp, but in hindsight, looking at that, it might actually damage quite easily being on the exposed edge. So maybe they've done that for sort of longevity purposes. But I think it would have created a beautiful flow all the way down. But I think it's still very nicely done, and it's a very good bracelet. We do have hollow end links though, which is a little bit of a shame. And we've also got these weird links as well. Now you can see, if I just give them a clean up, there is a line there. Now the links seem to be solid, but why they've got like a line, I thought it was a sort of a scratch at first, but there's actually a, I'll see if I can get a better shot of it. We've got just let me see if you can actually see it a little bit better now. If you can't see it, I'll get a better shot, but you can just see there's a very faint line that goes from the hole to the other side. I've never seen that on a bracelet before, but it does appear to be solid. We then have the now famous Seiko press clasps. I'm not even gonna sort of go into that, to be fair. At this price point, would be nice to see, you know, something a bit high quality, but it gets its job done. Nice chamfered edge on this clasp, very nicely brushed, logo branded, high polished sides, 2 micro jewels. Would have been nice to have 3 or more in my opinion, but fitment wise, it actually fits quite well, fortunately. But yeah, I think some extra micro adjusts would have been nice to make it a little bit more wearable. So let's pop it on wrist and see how it wears. Right guys, so here it is on my 6-inch wrist, and you know what, it actually fits really nicely. I mean, this is usually a little bit smaller than I go for, but in this case I actually think because it's a dress watch, it sort of suits being this small. So if you do have a wrist size, say 6 inches and under, I would say this is the size that you want, just because I think it creates a really nice look on wrist. If you've got bigger wrist than me, then I'd definitely go for that 40mm instead. That is just going to suit your wrist size a lot better than this one. So this is definitely, like I said, unisex would be the best way to describe it, because it's not really an over feminine watch and it's not really an over masculine watch either. I definitely think it could sort of sway both ways. You know, pop it on a leather strap as well, you know, if you want to change it up a bit. But yeah, I think it, you know, it would definitely suit men and women. Looking at that profile, you can see it is a hugger. It really does hug that wrist nicely because of those nice profiled lugs. Bracelet, good articulation, good flow, and it fits perfectly to my wrist. Again, that clasp, it does have one good side with it being so small. It's not uncomfortable, but macro adjust, I would rather have that in all fairness, but it does actually fit quite snugly, luckily. Obviously, you know, if you don't like the bracelet, you can just swap it out for something else, but very, very lightweight. You know, it's only 85 grams sized up for me. Super comfortable watch. It's one of them put them on, forget you're wearing it sort of things. Again, it'll slip under a cuff, no problem whatsoever with how slim it is, which would make it nice for, you know, like an office environment. I know current situation, offices aren't really a thing, but this is the sort of place that you could wear it quite comfortably. And, you know, forget that you're wearing it just because it is that lightweight, that low profile, and that comfortable. It's very, very well done. So let's pop it off wrist and talk verdict. What do we think of this watch? Well, I think it's a beautiful watch and it is definitely like a baby Sarb. £190 retail is its price currently. Yeah, at that I think it's a little bit steep. I think it should be more around the 150 mark. I think that would definitely be better bang for the buck. 190, if you really, really love it, then I would say obviously it's going to be worth it to you. I think 150 is where it should be. I mean, it does have that slight issue with the missing of the markers. I don't know if that's going to happen on every single sample, but mine, unfortunately, it does. But yeah, everything else is bang on. Finishing is great, build quality is great. Wish the clasp was a little bit better quality. It's only pressed, needs more micro adjust, solid end links, and I think definitely it would be worth 190 quid all day long. As it is though, I think 150, maybe 160 would be in the more ballpark figure of what I would expect this watch to retail for. But yeah, other than that, it's a beautiful little watch, well made, super comfortable, and it is beautiful. Definitely, like I say again, a baby Sarb. So that is pretty much it. Thanks for watching. See you soon. Thanks for watching the video. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss any uploads. And of course, follow me on social media at Mr. Budget Watch. Thanks again. I'll see you soon.